Hello, and welcome to the Summit B-Side episode of the All B-Side Speedrun tutorial series. In this video, we'll be going over the strats needed to get through the Summit B-Side quickly and consistently. Just like in 7A, 7B contains elements from every previous chapter, and this is mostly important because of the Dream Block tech we'll be using in 1000 meters, including Dream Double Jumps and Dream Hypers. If you're unfamiliar with Dream Double Jumps or Dream Hypers, a short video tutorial will be linked in the description below. For those of you interested in Benny%, the Summit cassette route strats will be in a short video tutorial linked in the description as well. Now, on to 7B. So the strats here in 0 meters are relatively simple and inflexible, so we should be able to get through them pretty quickly. From the very start here, we'll be going for a little hop into a demo hyper, wave dash, and then a right dash into the spring. So demo hyper, wave dash, right dash into the spring. Just like this. And just dash through the gaps. And from about here, you should, about this distance from the wall, you should be decently lined up to go for a right dash into an up dash and a wall bounce. You don't want to jump immediately on this wall bounce though, because if you buffer the wall bounce jump, you can hit those spikes. So jump a little bit late on the wall bounce, and you can make it up to here. From here now, we'll be doing a hyper through the transition, and then a right dash and up dash into this first spring. And then after bouncing off that spring, we can go for an up and up left to the next one. And from here you get a choice of going for an up dash that's timed to squeeze you through this gap while you have the spring momentum, which can be a little bit dangerous, but isn't too bad with practice. If that's too inconsistent for you though, you can just wait a little bit, then do a left and then an up dash through the gap. It's kind of weird from a save state, I gotta say. From here now, just fast fall through that little gap and then get 2 right dashes through. Now going into this next room, we're going to do a hyper bunny hop and then a buffered up dash and right dash as you're pretty much about to hit the first spring here. Because you don't want to hit the spring, you want to be heading around it like this. Now from here, we're just going to fall and try to make sure you hit the top of this spring, because if you don't hit the top of it, you can wind up not being able to make this next strat because you're too low. So what we're trying to do here is to do 2 right dashes to cancel our downward momentum, so we make it a little bit further. And the way you do that is you just kind of right dash after you already have your full falling momentum, or nearly have your full falling momentum. And then it kind of resets it so you get a bit more distance over a longer gap. Then you just hit the spring, dash up and right through the gap to the next one, and up right dash through there, and an up dash into the final spring. Then just the last couple dashes through those gaps to get here. From here now you got 2 choices. You can hyper bunny hop and dash up into the spring, which is pretty forgiving and lines up pretty well. Or you can go for a hyper into a wave dash after the transition, and then an up dash to the spring, which is a little bit faster, but a little bit tighter on the timing. Whichever one you choose though, after bouncing off the spring, you're going to be going for a demo under these spikes. Demo is mostly for safety purposes, because it's still possible without the demo, but it's much safer with it. So demo under here and dash up into the battle and throw. And then from here, just dash through these first couple gaps. This next gap you can dash through as you're rising up from the battle and throw. So if you'd like to risk that timing, go ahead. You can also demo if you're afraid of the spikes on the top of that left dash. Then up left to this wall, and just some quick climb jumps to battle in. And from here, you again got a couple choices. You can either upright pretty early and squeeze over the top of the spikes to then get to the spring, or you can wait till you clear them and do 2 right dashes. But then it's just upright in the battle end, and then these last couple of dashes through that little gap to get you to the end. Entering 500 meters here, we're going to immediately be going for a hyper corner boost off of that first corner. And then on this first traffic block, you do not want to be climbing up, because if you're climbing up it and then go for a climb jump as it's moving to the left here, you'll get corner boosted into the wall of spikes there. So just don't climb up it and you'll be safe. Instead, as it hits the end of its track, just do a climb jump without having climbed up. And then you can updash to the second traffic block here, where on this one you can hold up left, then jump as it reaches the end of its track, because holding up left lets you immediately go for that up left dash here, with having the inputs held early, which helps out. Here with the third traffic block, same as the first one, do not be holding up, you'll get corner boosted into the spikes. Instead just climb jump as it hits the end of its track, and then grab the final traffic block and boost over to here. From here now we can do 2 climb jumps and a wall kick off the very top, and then 2 delayed up dashes to get maximum height to get us to wall bounce out of the room here. If that feels too dangerous, you can just do 1 climb jump here, climb to the top, and do the same sort of exit setup. Going through the transition here, we're just going to up left dash to get us onto this next traffic block. And as this gets about halfway up its track, we're going to jump to the side and repeat the same thing with the next one. About halfway up the track, jump to the side, do 2 right dashes through. Just like this, twice in a row. Getting to this next traffic block though, the third one of this room, we have the opportunity to go for an even faster skip. What looks like that, where you save a dash and kind of squeeze around. And the way this works is by getting some coyote distance near the peak of this traffic block's movement, and then using that to fling us up and around. So we're going to do a coyote jump off the left side to then fling us up and around and save this dash. What this lets us do is then jump off this one, wall kick, and then an up and left dash up and out of the room here. If that feels a little bit too dangerous though, instead of that you can just do an up dash here and then wall kick off of the left side and wall bounce off the right to then get us to this final traffic block. From here now we just take this up on the left side of it to go for wall bounces, or for a wall bounce at the very top here to get us up and out, then an upright and a right dash to this bench. From here now we're going to be going for either an extended hyper or a demo hyper, and then a right dash and an up dash into this first spring here, which I did not quite get the right setup for, so let me just reset the room really quickly here. Okay, so for bouncing off of this spring, the easier strat is you take the spring to the right here and then do some air control to get you on the left side of this pillar here. Then you can just hop over it and do 2 upright dashes when you're lined up just about with the traffic light in the background you see right there, just up to the right of Madeline. You want to be just slightly down left of it, and that lines up pretty perfectly for 2 upright dashes into the spring. The slightly faster version is you hit the spring and then immediately dash back into it, because that lets you kick over the top of that and then go for the 2 upright dashes here. And then after hitting the spring here, you can go for a down right into a down dash to get through this gap. If that feels too dangerous though, you can just wait and do 2 down dashes. And from here, we're going for an extended hyper, upright, and wave dash pretty quickly to send us through there. Or you can just jump upright and wave dash here. Either works. And dash upright to here, jump over, up into the spring, and then we're going to be wall bouncing off of this final ice block to get us to the top up here. From here now, we're going to do hyper through, then wave dash and down right into Battlein. And then on this traffic block, we want to be climbing to the top and holding grab the entire time. And as soon as it gets out of our way, we will upright to the next wall and do 2 climb jumps and 2 more quick climb jumps on the wall after that. Because from here, we can be going for a reverse wave dash off of the traffic block like this into a wall bounce and an up left over to Battlein. Or if that feels too dangerous, you can just jump onto this and go for the wall bounce and up left. Then we're going to grab this traffic block at the end of the room here and just dash up to get us to this little bit of metal, and then just do some wall kicks to get us out of the room. Heading into 1000 meters here, just a quick reminder that you need to be familiar with dream hypers and dream double jumps for the strats we use here. If you need a refresher on those, there's a video tutorial in the description below. So from the very beginning here, we're doing a little hop into a demo hyper with jump held to make sure we're high enough to then dash right into this first dream block. And then we will do a double jump out the other side of it. And then a down right and an up right through this next dream block over here. Then coming out the second dream block here, we will do a quick jump and then down right into the third, which we'll demo out of under here, because sometimes if you have a bad angle and then you don't demo out of it, you'll die to those spikes on the right. So demoing is a little bit safer. So demo right, then dash up right through this one, which we'll do a tap jump to exit, because that makes us fall faster through this next gap. Just make sure to control your distance. Then a right and upright through this dream block, which we can demo hyper out of, and right dash down to the spring over here. Then we can just do some wall bounces to exit the room here. Then heading through the transition up here, we will be using the full height the transition gives us to hold right, and then at peak jump from the transition, we'll do a right dash and then an upright through the dream block here. And then we can do a nearly immediate right dash to grab the left side of this dream block here. Then from here, we'll be doing a down right and repeating the same step for this dream block where we can grab it to make sure that we were safe, and then do an upright and an up dash to exit this room here. Taking a little bit of time to just grab and make sure you're lined up here to get through safely still saves a decent bit of time over going to the right side of the room. However, you can go a little bit faster with this strat by using a dream hyper out of the first dream block here, and then just trying to get the dashes through without lining them up. It's just a lot more dangerous, so try and learn that strat at your own discretion. Heading up into the next room here, we'll just dash up through this first dream block and then right over to this wall, which we can quickly kick off of, and go for an upright dash and a tiny tap jump out of this next dream block, because that makes us fall a little bit faster. And then after that, we can go for a demo under the stone here, because we can squeeze a little bit tighter with a demo. So we'll demo and then go for an up dash. And if you space the dashes properly, you can also get a wall kick on this left wall after exiting the little kind of cube here, and that makes it just a little bit quicker, because you can fall a little bit faster over to here. And from here, it's the same deal where you can demo under and then dash up to make it just a little bit faster. So after the up dash here into the spring, you can actually hold down right and you will always make it through this gap every single time after hitting the spring. So just hold down right and you can go a little bit faster. Then you have a pretty difficult skip you can do at the end of this room, where you have to demo under the stone of this exit and then do an up dash through the final dream block. It's pretty tight, so go for it if you feel you have enough practice with it, but you do not want to be dying at the end of this room. So alternatively, you can just do the sort of same thing that we did earlier, where you dash lined up with the wall through the dream block to then kick off of the wall and then dash back around to get through this dream block quickly. Now exiting the room here, we'll do an up dash and then a buffered right dash out of the dream block that lines us up perfectly with this platform, so we can then go for a hyper. Going into this next room, we dash right into the first dream block and then do a dream double jump and an upright and up dash into battle in here. After she flings us, we'll go for a left dash and then a double jump through this next dream block as well. And then you can go for a wall bounce off of this wall. It's a little bit tighter though, because you don't want to be hitting these spikes on the way up. So it's okay to just dash up and climb the wall over here. And then go for the right dash and then another dream double jump out of this block, if possible. Just having a little bit of trouble with it there, but that's alright. Heading up to this next dream block, the next two here you want to be getting as much height as possible, because that lets you skip touching the walls whatsoever. So do some dream double jumps here if you can manage, and then just some dashes through these dream blocks and dream jumps to get out of the room. At the end here, you can do an up and then upright dash to land here, and then an up dash and a right dash, but you don't want to buffer it because you'll get stuck on this corner. So the right dash, delay just a tiny bit, and you can hit the spring, then dash up into battle and to exit. Heading into 1500 meters here, we'll need to be worrying about both entry cycles and death cycles, so that makes teaching this checkpoint a decent bit longer. So just keep that in mind when you're learning this checkpoint here. Now the movement from the very beginning here is going to be a little hop, a dash up, a wave dash, and then a down right to the first spring. Kind of like that. But we need to do that on the entry cycle here. So that's what it should look like. Then we'll dash through the gap up here and then fall till we're aligned vertically with the next spring, and then dash right into it, just like that. If you're hitting the dust bunny, the reason for that is because you actually went too fast at the beginning of the room. So if you're hitting this dust bunny here, you need to slow down just a little bit. Going for the next spring, you'll need to demo under the bit of dust bunnies and then go for a very tiny wall bounce off of the wall just above, like that. And the reason we're kind of trying to get to this next spring as fast as possible is because we're trying to beat a cycle at the very end of the room here. So then to the final spring up ahead, we're just going to be doing 2 right dashes to try and hit it as quickly as possible. If you can dash so that you're in line with it and hit it immediately, that's sort of the best case scenario. Just don't be too low if you're going for that, because these dust bunnies can be dangerous. It's probably better to be just above it instead, which is a little safer. And then exiting the room here, you're just going to go for 2 right dashes to get you out. But if that's feeling too dangerous or too tight on the final dust bunny cycle, what you can do instead is fall down to about here, and I set that up pretty poorly. You'd be falling down to about here, and then you can go for 2 uprights to get you out of the room. And that'll make it a lot easier to handle this final dust bunny cycle. Now for the death cycle for this whole room here, it's a little bit janky at the start. What you'll need to be doing back here is, as soon as you spawn, do a down dash into the floor, walk a little bit forward, and then extend a demo hyper off the end. So this is what that should look like. And now from here, heading to the next spring, you're not going to be going as fast as possible. In fact, you want to intentionally slow down just a little bit. And the way we'll do that is by not going for the tiny wall bounce up here. We'll just kick off and fall to this spring. Now heading to the final spring, we're not dashing right into it immediately either. We'll be doing a right dash and then an up dash so that we can land on the spring after this dust bunny's out of our way. Then you should pretty safely be able to go for the 2 right dashes to exit the room. However, if the final dust bunny is affecting your cycle, you can, again, just fall down there and do the 2 uprights. Heading into the next room here, we'll be entering it with an extended demo hyper and jumping pretty much as late as we can before the transition. And the reason for this is because we'll be doing a grounded ultra after the transition. And then going for an upright and a right dash to get us to the other side. So the grounded ultra here, you want your jump to not be too far on coyote distance, but also not too early. The distance that you can squeeze your jump in should just about be from the very edge of this wooden platform to just a little bit of coyote distance. So that's what you should be aiming for your jump on the grounded ultra here. And that should squeeze you by to then get you through to this platform with the luggage cart on it. And then from here, you'll be going for an immediate extended demo hyper, and then an upright and a right dash through the dash crystal. And then you should be able to, from there, be going for a wave dash to exit the room, like that. However, the problem with this room in particular is that it has 2 death cycles, since it's got like a transition of the camera angle here, which gives you a respawn point, but no actual screen transition. So the first of the 2 death cycles we need to worry about starts from here. And what we're going to be doing here for the death cycle is we will dash up into the spring immediately and then do 2 right dashes to get us to the luggage cart platform. So that should look like this. And then as soon as we're landing on the luggage cart platform, we'll do an extended demo hyper and a right dash and an up dash to the last dash crystal. And then 2 right dashes to get us to the final wall and fall to the exit of the room over here. Now if you're dying in this section of the room here, there's another death cycle to worry about. And what you'll need to do here is an extended demo hyper, an upright, and then a right dash through that final dash crystal. But the very beginning has to be very quick. And then right dashes to get to the very end wall. So I pretty much have to be going for the extended demo hyper and then the upright almost immediately. Heading into the next room here, we'll be entering with either a wave dash or a short hyper, depending on if you had a dash back in the air or not. And then we'll be dashing right and up to be just outside the range of this spring here, so that we can then fall into it instead of hitting it immediately. And the reason we do that is so that we're past this first Death Bunny cycle here without them impacting us. Heading for the top right or top switch at the very top of the screen just now, you'll want to be doing 2 upright dashes buffered just about when you get to the left edge of the painting here that you see, like the paintings in the background. So just as you're about to reach the left edge, that lines you up pretty well to do 2 up left dashes and get the top switch. If you're too late, or if you're too early on them, rather, you'll slide along the ceiling into the Dust Bunny like that, and if you're too late, you just hit the Dust Bunny directly. So you gotta work on the timing for this a little bit. But after getting the top left switch here, you can fast fall to this bottom left one. And then after bouncing off the spring down here, we'll do a right dash at the peak of the spring bounce height, and then an up dash after we hit the bottom switch, like this. Then we'll move over to the left a little to fall onto the moving spring here. And since we want to delay the cycle of that Dust Bunny in the top right corner of the room, we will hit the spring and then dash down into it real quick so that we can then get that cycle a little more easily. And so for the top switch there, it was just a couple climb jumps. You hit the switch, then you fall down and dash right into the final switch here. Now this last jump looks harder than it is. You just need your toe pixel to be about from the middle to the top of the final switch here, and then you can just full jump to the left and then pull back to the right to grab the wall, and then you can climb up and out. For the death cycle for this room, the changes that you're going to need to make are you'll need to hit this first spring immediately, and the way you do that is you demo under there. So you right dash off of the platform immediately to get both of your dashes back while still pushing yourself forward at speed. Then demo under and dash up into the first spring. Then after that, the first 2 switches are the same. So that switch and this switch you would do the exact same way, but the bottom middle switch we have to do just a little bit differently. I'll show that just now. So let me just save state here. So we just fall into it instead of dashing to it. And that will put us to do the same thing to head to the top switch here, like this. And then again, same exit from the room. Heading into the next room now, we'll be entering it with an extended hyper, down dash, and a very short wave dash, so that after the transition we can dash up into the very first spring. And then for the next several springs here, you're just buffering up right or up left dashes until the second to last spring that I'm about to head to here. What's different with this one is you want to do an upright early and then a delayed upright after that, so that you can make it so this Dust Bunny cycles out of your way, just barely like this. And then after you hit this one, you'll also have to delay for the top left spring, but you have to do it slightly differently. You'll want to do an up dash in the middle of the room, and then an up left to the final spring here, like this. Then you can just dash up to that one. Now for the death cycle for this room, we'll be hitting the first spring here with a super and an up dash immediately. And then it's the same buffered up right and up left dashes, You even buffer 2 uprights for the second to last spring up here. It's just this final spring that gets a little bit different. What you need to do for the final spring is do an up left so that you're between the dust bunny and the spring, and then dash up to delay for the dust bunny cycle. Then you fall down left into the spring and dash up into battle and to exit the room. Heading into 2,000 meters here, this is a relatively fast and free checkpoint to learn, so it's a welcome change of pace from 1,500 meters. So at the very beginning here, we'll do an extended super, then a demo hyper off of this platform, and then you can do an upright and then an updash a little bit delayed, each of them, to get max height to take you straight to the bubble. You can also, if you do these first 2 dashes after the demo hyper quickly, you can go for a wall bounce into the bubble. Like that. Then after exiting the bubble, you'll be doing 2 downrights to the next cloud, and then just tapping a jump off of it really quickly and doing an upright and a right through that right dash through that gap. Then for the middle of these 3 clouds, we'll be buffering a hyper when we land on it. If your hyper is not buffered, it'll probably be too low, so you have to make sure to get a buffered hyper here. And then you can take that hyper directly to the final cloud and do an up left and an up dash through the gap. Now for this next room here, after grabbing the auto scroller block, it does not matter how you get through this first section of it. I'm showing you my way right now. But what does matter is towards the end of the room here, after crossing this spike, we want to climb up into the spring so that we can then do a down right and a left dash to re-grab the auto scroller block. A little bit weird from a save state again, but this is the trick that we're doing, where we get around to the other side of the auto scroller block here, and then we can climb up into it again here and do 2 upright dashes to exit the room just a little bit more quickly than casual strat would be. Then it's just climb jump through the transition up here, and we'll immediately go for a demo hyper off of this little raised chunk right here, like this. And then we can do an upright and a downright to wave dash off of this platform, like that. And then we're going to do an upright dash and then a demo hyper off of the next raised platform. So demo hyper, upright, wave dash, and upright. I did it a little bit late there. Let's do that again. An upright and then demo hyper there. And then you can do a down right and a right dash to get here from the previous platform. So down right dash. And then from this platform you can just do hypers to exit the room. And then you can even transition hyper and right dash into battle end like that. Now in the last room here, after this battle end throw, we'll just dash up left and left into battle end. And then off this battle end throw, you want to get to the very peak of the height she throws you before doing your 2 right dashes so that you can get over the tops of these spikes here. Then you'll just tap jump off of the pink cloud at the end here. Then do a down right, do a down right and then a right dash into battle end. And then for these next 2 up dashes, you want them a little bit delayed so you can get a wall bounce there and send you all the way up to battle end. Then, after the last time she tosses you here, this is just the casual exit. You can't change anything about that final couple dashes. Heading into 2,500 meters here, we'll do a quick climb jump off of the right wall, then a wall bounce off the dash block to get both the dash block momentum and a wall bounce, like this. And we use that to fling ourselves to the crumble block where we'll hop off, and then dash down left into the next dash block, then up and out over here. You can also go for a wall bounce on the left wall as you exit, which is significantly more aggressive because of the spikes being so close. So use that strat at your own risk. Heading into the next room here, we'll do a hyper through the transition, then a wave dash, and then we just have bubbles coming up here. So there isn't really a way to make this too much faster. Just make sure to fast fall and fast bubble wherever possible. Heading into the next room now, we'll do a quick hyper bunny hop, and then an upright to this first dash block. Now we have the hardest skip of the checkpoint coming up, where you have to squeeze a jump over the next dash block here, between the dash block and the spikes. It's harder than it looks because you have to squeeze through such a tiny space. But after you get it down, you should be able to get it pretty consistently regardless. If this isn't consistent for you though, do not be afraid to just go over the top. You'll lose like a second or two, but it'll be much safer, so it's a better option overall. Now, for the next dash block here, we'll dash up as we come about parallel with the spikes, do 2 climb jumps over, and then a wall kick on the opposite side. And then we want to grab and do a climb jump off of this next dash block as it's rising, so that we get the upward momentum, like this, to fling us over the top to here, or we can then dash down left to it again, then kick off, and then do a right dash and an up dash to the final dash block, where from there we just do 2 uprights to get to the exit of the room. Now we'll hyper bunny hop through the next transition again, and then dash into the dash block and upright to battle in. Then we'll hop over this next dash block and do the same sort of thing. Dash off the dash block, dash up left into battle in. Then we can do an upright to the bubble, take it to the side, then downright upright to battle in. Now we're going to be going for a corner kick next here that looks like that off of this dash block over here. It looks more difficult than it is. The setup for getting to the first dash crystal here is you want to do your 2 up left dashes as your feet just about cross the vertical plane with the excuse me, cross the vertical line with the blue spikes here. Just couldn't find my words for a second there. But yeah, you'll do your 2 up left dashes as you cross that point, and that'll get you to the first dash crystal here. Then you can demo under the dash block and do an up left to the corner of the final dash block for your corner kick. And up here, it's 2 up dashes to the red bubble. Then you take it right and down left to the next bubble. Grab battle in over here, 2 up dashes. Then it's a wall bounce up to the top here. And from up here, we'll just hop over the edge, do a wave dash off of the dash block, a wall bounce off the left wall, and then a right dash into battle in. Heading into downdraft here, we are immediately going to be skipping flag 19 up to the left by doing double wall bounces here. And then the skip we'll be doing requires us to be on this block, and you want to have your toe pixel aligned with just about the bottom of it, or a little bit lower, so that you can jump to the right, and then corner boost off of the corner of this block over here, and then climb jump up to flag 18. For flag 18, we'll go for 2 wall bounces, and then kick off of the left wall back to the right wall, so that you can then jump to the dash crystal and do 2 right dashes to land you on top of the crumble block here. Once you're on the crumble block, you're going to go for 2 up dashes and a wall bounce to the next dash crystal, and then 2 right dashes from there to this crumble block, then 2 more wall bounces to get you up to flag 17 over here. Now from flag 17, we'll be skipping all that weird stuff in the bottom left of the room by doing a wall bounce up above. So we'll jump off to the left here, then up left and wall bounce to climb jump and wrap around up here to flag 16. Now from here we'll dash up into the next spring, and then you pretty much just have a dash pattern that you need to be working with here. So just pay attention to how the dashes work here. And then at the very end of the room, you want to make sure to have enough height that you can climb jump out to flag 15 over here. Now from flag 15, we're just going to be dashing up into the springs here, and then doing upright dashes from about the middle of the room to dash back into the springs. And that makes it just get us a little bit faster through this room here. So that's for the first 3 springs here. Then we'll do either an up left and an up dash to this next spring, or 2 up dashes, and repeat what we were doing earlier where we dash back into it, except now we have to dash up and then upright through the gap. Then as we hit this spring on the right, we'll go for 2 up left dashes to the top left spring, like that, and then 2 up dashes through this next gap to this spring, and off of the max height of this spring, we can do 2 up dashes to touch battle immediately. Heading into updraft here now, we'll be doing a short hyper off of the edge here, and then just some delayed up dashes to allow us to dash right over the top of these spikes here. But if you're feeling any difficulty with that at all, you can just do an upright at the end instead. Now for flag 13, we're going to be doing an extended hyper to pass both the flag and land us on the first pink cloud. And then from the pink cloud here, we're doing an up left and an up dash to land on the very left of this pink cloud, so that we can jump up left with it and wrap around the spikes here and just do the 2 right dashes over them. You can go for fast falling here if you like, but that's just up to your own discretion if you feel you can manage. And then you want to land on the left side of the flag 12 platform here, so you can do a down right into 2 buffered down dashes to immediately hit the next spring. If you land too far to the right of this platform though, you'll have to do a down right then a down left to make sure that you squeeze by here safely. Then after you hit the spring, just dash under and up into the next spring, bouncing along as you go. Nothing too special you can do there besides a little bit of fast falling. Now from flag 11 here, we're going for an extended hyper, a right dash and an upright dash to land us on this next pink cloud, and we'll immediately be jumping off of it, demoing under the spikes, and then dashing upright to the final pink cloud over here, and then 2 right dashes over to flag 10 here. Now from flag 10, we're just going to do a lot of wall kicks up here, and then starting here, we're going for a wall bounce to get us flying up this part of the chute a little bit faster. And then for these last several jumps, be mindful of how high you're jumping off of the walls, because you can actually ram your head into the ceiling if you're not careful. But that section, flag 10, can be really difficult to do quickly and safely, so just make sure to have that well practiced so that you're not having any long flag 10 deaths in the middle of a run. Now, for the next bit here, we're doing an extended hyper, then an up left and a wave dash, and then another wave dash as we cross flag 9 here, and then a down left and a left dash to get us to this next cloud. From the cloud here, you can fast fall pretty safely there, then it's a left dash and an up left to this pink cloud, which we'll jump off of, then immediately down left and left dash through to get us to the next pink cloud over here. Now we have the opportunity for a pretty fast but dangerous skip right here, where we jump, or we dash all the way over to this block nice and early. That requires some really precise dashes though, so if you're having any trouble with that, don't be afraid to just fall to that block and then jump over like that. From here now, we'll be kicking off and then going for 2 neutrals. You want to neutral off the top of this block down here, so that you can then again neutral off of this little bit in there to get to the top of this. Jump over the side here, and 2 quick climb jumps to the top, up and over, to then go and hit battling. Heading into the final stretch now, we'll immediately go for a super to flag 8, and then 2 up dashes and a wall bounce off of that little chunk of stone over there to get us up here. From here, we'll hyper and bunny hop off of flag 7 to immediately start lining us up for these 2 wall bounces up here. Then once we land at the flag 6 platform, we want to land on the left side, so we can go for an extended super and the up dash through that gap. Then just the wall bounces here as normal to get us over to the flag 5 platform. And from here now, we'll go for a super and a right dash, passing flag 5 onto the crumble blocks, then the quick hop to make the crumble blocks go away. And then from there, we'll demo under and do an upright dash to the first dash crystal, And then just follow this dash pattern to get us up to this ledge as quickly as possible. Heading to flag 4 up here, we'll do an up dash and an up left to get us up here, then an extended hyper, an up left, and a wave dash to immediately transition into 2 wall bounces, getting us to flag 3. So wave dash, then these 2 wall bounces, and you want to land on the flag 3 platform just about where the flag itself is, because we're going next for an extended hyper into the infamous flag 3 demo, which is a lot easier than it looks here. As long as you do an extended hyper with full height, demoing through there is no problem at all. The most important part though is just demoing pretty close to the spikes themselves so that you can line up for the wall bounce after that. Because if you're too far beneath them, you won't be properly lined up for this next wall bounce. Now once you get up to flag 2 here, you're going for an extended hyper and 2 up left dashes to this cloud, and jumping off of it for an up dash and a left dash, aiming to land on the very left of this next cloud. And for the fast strat here, you want to be buffering an extended hyper so you can immediately hyper and then head over to this next pink cloud. But if that skip is too difficult for you, totally fine to just jump to that cloud and then head on over to the pink cloud down here. Now heading to the next cloud, we'll wrap this pink cloud over to the left and do an up dash and an upright to this cloud, which we will buffer a jump off of to make it so that we can immediately dash right over the tops of these spikes and then down into the next pink cloud. Then we'll tap jump off of each of these pink clouds immediately so that we can start falling more quickly. With the final pink cloud over here though, you have to be careful with your tap jump, because if you're too far to the left, those spikes are awfully close to your head, so walking off it to the right might be a little bit safer. Then you just do the right dash and wall bounce there, and climb jumps up to flag 1. And from here, we're going for a wall bounce and an up dash and some climb jumps up this wall, then another wall bounce, and then an upright dash, and a final climb jump to get you up here. Now from this ledge, you can go for a fast strat with a grounded ultra and a bunny hop here, and do a corner boost, just like that. If you're going for this strat, the grounded ultra has to be very fast. You'll bunny hop off of here, and then you'll corner boost off of this corner right here. And then you can use that to just fling you for the upright dashes to get you up here. If you're having trouble with that, you can go for just a demo hyper, bunny hop, and then some bunny hops to get you up to here, where you then do 2 uprights and then another 2 uprights up to here. Then we can do another little grounded ultra slide to slide us off that platform and dash down immediately, and then do a wave dash and an up dash into battle and down at the end. If that gives you any trouble at all, you can just do this instead. No big difference in time. Heading up into the heart room now, I'll be showcasing the harder strat first here, and then explaining it. We'll talk about why you do those down dashes there as well, because that is pretty important. Okay, so that was what the fastest cycle looks like here. Now to get into explaining the down dashes, those 7 down dashes that you do on that second cloud in the room are because every time you dash down, the game pauses for what I'm pretty sure is 2 frames, and the game timer pauses for 2 frames. However, these cycle blocks are totally separate from that paused time, because they're on a global cycle linked to the music or something like that. But yeah, every time you dash down in a cycle room like this, you will be saving those 2 frames. So in total, it's like 0.2 seconds to just dash down 7 times on this first cloud while you wait for a cycle. Okay, so you do those down dashes, up left through the first spike, and then left through this next one. And on this cloud, we're just going to do a full jump, then do a left dash and a buffered up dash through this gap. Make sure to be on the lower end of the gap when dashing through, so your up dash doesn't get you impaled on the spikes up above. Then you'll just fall down to the cloud on the left over here, and this is the hardest part of the skip, or this cycle. You're going to need to get past the pink block at the top of the screen here, pretty much the instant it goes away, and then land really quickly on the cloud just above that. So the way you want to do that is kind of space to around here before doing your 2 up dashes, so you can buffer them, and this is about the right height you want to be, so you can buffer the dashes to land on the cloud immediately. So let me try it here, like that, and then after that you can do a wall bounce up to the block there, and then do climb jumps on the right side to get to the heart. So yeah, you'll have to move slightly to the left to get these wall bounce, or get the wall bounce lined up, and then you wall bounce to the right side, and just do climb jumps to reset your dash on the very top of the block. And then you just do 2 up dashes and roll the heart. Now I'm going to need to show you the slower cycle, just for safety purposes, because that fast cycle can be difficult. So on the easier cycle here, what you'll be doing is just changing how you approach the cycle skip. And the way that we change that is on this cloud over here. We are going to, instead of doing a left dash and buffered up dash to then land on this next cloud on the left side of the screen, we're going to be doing a left dash and then a slightly late up dash after falling between these 2 spiked blocks. And then once we're on the cloud here, we'll take it for a full jump and then do 2 kind of spread out up dashes to get you to this next cloud. You don't want them to be buffered to the point where you land on this cloud immediately, because that could get you too fast and not quite on the cycle you want. After you've reached here though, you should be able to do 2 bounces on this cloud, and a full jump, and the same wall bounce exit to get you up into the heart. And that was all of 7B. If you're learning 7B as an individual level, a solid goal time to aim for would be around 7 minutes 15 seconds, or even under 7 minutes if you're really trying to get lower times. If you're learning 7B for all B-sides or Binny percent though, specifically in 7B, you should be focusing more on having a strong average time, so something close to 8 minutes or less if you can, since consistency is far more important for a full game category, especially in a level later into the run like this. That's all for 7B though, so see you in the next episode in the core.